basically for today, my plan with the Hawkeye back here is I want to get the parts we took off on the car. So I brought some down. We got the fender that I didn't even end up doing anything with, so I took it off for no reason. The side skirt that needed to get painted. And I have the door in the back of this car right here. So since I don't have the front bumper right now, I don't really feel like pulling out the polishing stuff just to do a side skirt. So I think I'm going to wait on polishing. I'm just going to kind of put all the parts on just so she's at least one piece again. And I can at least drive her. I guess let's get to it. Screw fell. There we go, she's back in one piece after quite a while. It's definitely nice to see that door fixed again. It's obviously not perfect, like even the bodywork in my opinion is not perfect, but I think it's not bad. And the color match honestly is not really bad at all, to be honest. Obviously this one was just polished not that long ago, and this one's over a year old, so you can kind of see a little bit different coloring or like a shading to the door, but I also think it might just be a little dirty. Yeah, hopefully when we get this car full wash, it looks a lot better. And I did not polish the skirt yet, as you can tell, just because it's easier to do it on the car, because it just likes to flop around everywhere when it's not secured down to anything. I got this pretty good. This looks really good, actually, the body line. And the gapping, in my opinion, is pretty good. You know, it's not bad. Looks OEM sort of. Yeah, I also did forget a couple of screws. I forgot the plug that goes there, the screw that goes down in here, and the screw in here. So all this stuff is loose, but it works. I'll come back probably in another week or two, bring those screws down and make sure everything is secure on the car. We also still need the bumper. So my plan right now is to give my girlfriend the smashed up door, and it's in the Civic right now. She's gonna bring it down to Brampton, and then next weekend when she comes down, she'll bring it with her, and I'll take that out, and then we'll throw the bumper in her Civic, hoping it's going to fit. I have no idea if it's gonna fit, but we're gonna try. And then she's gonna bring it down. I will come up the following weekend, throw it on this car, and hopefully give the bumper and the side skirt a final polish. And this thing will be done and ready to go back on the road. Now, there is going to be some things we are going to have to look at for the car. Like, I want to get the horn working. The horn kind of stopped working last year, and it's really annoying driving in Brampton and you can't honk at people because there's a lot of great drivers on the road. Another thing is the e-brake. The e-brake right now doesn't really work, and this was a problem ever since I put the Brembos on the car, because there's a cartboy bracket that kind of moves the rear brake caliper, and you have to get new oversized e-brake shoes on the rear brakes. And after doing so, I was trying to make sure it was as close to the inner rotor as possible, so I would make sure I would get engagement when I pulled the e-brake, but it just was never quite right. So I think I got to tighten up the cable or something just to make it work. So that is something we're gonna have to look into. We're gonna have to look into the horn, and just a couple of little tiny things we got to finish on the car for me to be happy to say she's officially done and my vision is complete. So we may change things, but we may keep the same or go down the path that we were originally going with the build. We will see. The last thing I want to do is I want to pull the battery out of this thing, and I want to hook it up to my battery tender, just so when I come to take her, the battery's fully charged, because it is dead right now. So we're gonna pop that sucker out, put her on charge, and we're gonna call her a day. So I'm gonna leave the battery here on charge for probably a couple weeks by the time I get ready to put it back in the car. I have it hooked up to one of these battery tender things that I bought like last year for the STI. I believe this mode, I might be wrong, but I believe this mode right here is kind of like a high voltage, just kind of like booster mode. But I'm gonna set it to the 12V lithium. I believe that's kind of like the repair and recharge, like maintain mode. So I'm gonna leave it on this, come back to it maybe in a couple hours, see what it's doing, and I guess just leave it. So hopefully by the time I'm ready to put the battery back in, it's fully charged.